Hey guys, it's Emma Bigling with TYT Politics, and I'm talking about the Muslim ban and what happened this weekend. I, personal story, I guess, a little bit at the beginning. I almost went live yesterday because I was experiencing a lot of emotions, and I realized I wouldn't be able to do my job adequately and go live yesterday because I was so emotional. And I want to explain why I was so emotional, because it's not just, see, I get emotional again. It's not just that what the Muslim ban did was hateful. It's that the reaction from the American people was so moving to me, and it really made me feel so much hope for America. And I once those detainees were released and their families were hugging them and there were just loud cheers from these protesters and from the crowd, I'm so distressed about what's going on right now in the country, but I've also never been more hopeful. And I'm so proud of America right now, and I'm so proud to be an American, because an overwhelming majority of people are saying no. And the elevated level of political consciousness in this country is something to be admired. I'm sad it took us having a monster as president to get to this place, but I'm really, really moved by everything that I've been seeing. So, sorry guys. Anyway, I mean, I wouldn't do this if I didn't care about the news. So, I'm also weepy, and Jordan makes fun of me all the time about it. I cry about everything. But now let's get to the corruption angle, because what TYT is about is not just talking about progressive things. Everyone agrees about how hateful this is. But we want to talk about the corruption angle. We do things a little bit differently here. And you know what? Trump wouldn't have gone forward with this Muslim ban if it didn't line his own pockets and help his own business interests. If you know Donald Trump, you know that that's the case. So, let me just give you first an update on what's happening. So, Trump's order stopped travel by people from these 7 countries: Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. And as of now, judges in 5 states have issued orders stopping this said ban, which allowed a lot of those people to be released. So, judges in New York, California, Massachusetts, Virginia, and Washington state have issued rulings blocking the federal authorities from enforcing that ban. The New York judge, who is a very new judge, good on her, was the first to do so in Brooklyn. And there have been reports that some state authorities are not listening to this ban, which is basically in direct violation of these judges' orders. That is against the law. But right now, it's such chaos because of the sweep of this executive order by Donald Trump that really no one knows how to respond adequately and what is legal and what is not. So, that being said, what this executive order is at this point null and void. I'm sure Trump and his team is going to fight it in the courts. His team is basically becoming just Steve Bannon. And there were reports out that I think are extremely troubling about Steve Bannon. This Muslim ban is pretty much the brainchild of Steve Bannon, obviously the white supremacist who's in Donald Trump's ear and has in a position in the White House that is ever expanding. In summary, Trump has removed all these experienced people from the National Security Council and has put an alt-right neo-fascist, Steve Bannon, former head of a fake news website, into that position. President Donald Trump signed a presidential memorandum Saturday that removed the nation's top military and intelligence advisors as regular attendees of the National Security Council's Principals Committee, the interagency forum that deals with policy issues affecting national security. The executive measure established Trump's chief strategist, Steve Bannon, as a regular attendee, whereas the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff and the Director of National Intelligence will be allowed to participate only where issues pertaining to their responsibilities and expertise are to be discussed. And then John McCain said, The appointment of Mr. Bannon is something which a radical departure from any National Security Council in history, Republican John McCain, the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, said. The one person who is indispensable would be the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, in my view, McCain added. So it's of concern, this reorganization. Yes, of course it's of concern. You said you were going to make America safe again. That's an exact quote from you. How is it safe to put a guy whose only experience is in anything is being your White House advisor? That's the only governmental experience that Steve Bannon has. He was just the chairman of a news organization, to put it generously. Breitbart is a propaganda outlet, and now you've put him in charge and sitting in on meetings that almost all of the meetings in the National Security Council, and have kicked out the most important person in that Security Council, so he only attends when he's needed. Who determines when he's needed? Oh, it's you, Donald Trump. So basically, you're only putting in Steve Bannon because he doesn't oppose anything you say and just cozies up to you. Steve Bannon is saying, oh, everything you're doing is great. The Muslim ban is a great idea, Donald Trump, and Americans seem to be responding to it. So, he's not just a child, but he's a child that is greedy and doesn't have any sense of remorse. So, let's see how the Muslim ban squares away with his business interests. So the executive actions, again, were for Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. Trump has no business interests in those countries. One other thing they have in common, as NPR's Greg Meyer writes, no Muslim extremist from any of those places has carried out a fatal attack in the U.S. in more than 2 decades. The 19 terrorists in the September 11th attacks were from Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Lebanon, and the United Arab Emirates, Meyer points out. They are among the Muslim-majority countries not affected by Trump's immigration freeze, but where Trump does business. Boom. He has significant commercial interests in Turkey and Azerbaijan, and is developing properties in Indonesia and Dubai, and has formed companies in Egypt and Saudi Arabia. His daughter, Ivanka, said in 2015 that the company was looking at multiple opportunities in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the 4 areas where we are seeing the most interest. So, in my opinion, I think Trump is violating the Constitution here in 2 ways. One, he's discriminating on the basis of religion. That is the source for all of these federal judges blocking this this executive order. But secondly, this is in violation of the Emoluments Clause, which I know everyone's been hearing, what the hell is emoluments? But you can't accept gifts from foreign governments. Maybe this is not a direct violation of emoluments, but when you're crafting foreign policy, significant foreign policy, already discriminatory and legally shaky foreign policy, and it happens to align with your business interests, that's a double whammy on constitutional order. And Trump is barely pretending to call this legal. Listen to what Rudy Giuliani said on the stupid Fox News show with, what's her name? With Judge Jeanine Pirro. Oh, God. Listen to what Giuliani said on her show.
So when he first announced it, he said Muslim ban. He called me up. He said, put a commission together. Show me the right way to do it legally. I put a commission together with Judge Mukasey, with Congressman McCall, Pete King, whole group of other very expert lawyers on this. And what we did was we focused on, instead of religion, danger. The areas of the world that create danger for us, which is a factual basis, not a religious basis. Perfectly legal, perfectly sensible, and that's what the ban is based on. It's not based on religion. It's based on places where there are substantial evidence that people are sending terrorists into our country.
The areas of the country which are creating danger for us, we created danger in their country by bombing the shit out of them. So I don't really want to hear it from you, Giuliani. And again, as was just pointed out, none of these countries that are affected by this Muslim ban attacked us on 9/11. So how are they significantly creating danger for us? Tell me if there's any tangible evidence besides your own bigotry that they are actually hurting America. And again, Saudi Arabia, they were the ones that bombed us on 9/11. but we are too cozy with them in our oil deals. That's what you really want to say, Giuliani, right? We gotta play ball with them because we want that yummy oil. Give me a break. So, again, and also, I just want to say, he keeps saying that we're focusing on it instead of religion danger. But previously in the show, he said, when he first announced it, he called Muslim ban, and then they had to make it legal. So they already knew that it was extra legal in the first place. They're just circumventing the legality so they can get the ends that they want, which is a Muslim ban.